Welcome back, guys. Mike Camp here in Austin, Texas. This track is called the Veloway. It's the first of its kind in the US. It's 3.1 miles around, and only cyclists and rollerbladers are allowed. So super safe that you're not going to have any vehicle accidents here. This is my first time bringing out the TT bike, which stands for time trial, or an aero bike. This is the one that I'll be racing in my Ironman Texas in April. For those of you who don't know, I broke my neck 10 weeks ago, as well as my sternum, in a pretty bad cycling accident up north. Recovery is going really well. I've been outdoor cycling for a few weeks now. I'm back to swimming, and this week is exciting with physical therapy because I'll be doing plyometrics in preparation for running again. Plyometrics, jumping up and down, are going to help my spinal cord injury and spinal cord just get used to that high impact momentum again. Ease into it before 12 weeks post-op, which is 2 more weeks, we'll be running again. That's going to do so much for my mind, and by then we'll be 6-7 months out from our race. Important time to start reintroducing running. After this, we're going to head back home. I want to go over nutrition. A lot of people have been asking what I put in my body. Something's really changed since I started training for long triathlons, and that's just recognizing food as fuel, where I didn't always do that before. The quality of food that we're putting in, specifically carbohydrates and protein, really important. So I'm just going to show you in the kitchen how I meal prep, what I like to do, and then we'll take you upstairs to the closet. I want to show you, been getting a lot of questions about the type of gear that I wear, both for race and training. Just really important, but for your level of comfort, as well as the padding that you have for protection. So let's head home. Guys, here we are in my room. As you can see here, this is where the indoor bike is set up. When I did my first Ironman, I spent 6 months during the winter just doing most of my rides here. Now that I've got a little bit more experience, it's more important for me to get used to the handling outdoors. So that's why you're gonna see a nice mix between indoor and outdoor. The reason I brought you to the room, I wanna grab some things from the closet. I get quite a few questions about for running or for training or for biking, what kind of gear I'm using. And it took me some trial and error for a few months in order to find the right brands, the right quality. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to show you guys what I like to use, why I like it. And then we'll go downstairs and I'm gonna prep some meals for you just to show you. Probably the biggest question I get from Ironman training is how many calories are you eating and how do you get in that many calories? So I'm gonna give you a little window into what I'm eating, why I'm eating it, and what allows me to perform well for training. Let's get into the closet. I'm gonna grab some shorts and show you why I use them. So most of these that I have are Nike. These ones right here are Nike trail shorts. These are my favorite by far. They're great for running because they can hold a phone back here. If you don't want to spend full price on them, I like going to a factory store and you can buy them at a discounted price. You see they've got a bunch of different colors. These are all 5 inches in length, which for me is really good. Same with these that I'm wearing. All of these Nike shorts, 5 inches, not affiliated with them yet, but just really enjoy the length for running. When I was younger, I used to wear 7 inches or longer. I'm 6'3", so I have long legs. Keeps everything out of the way. I know even some shorter guys have 3-inch shorts. For me, they're just super durable. While Nike might be a little more expensive from some other brands, I'm always the type of person who's gonna spend on quality because I've had these 5-7 years, some of these, and they're just as good as when I got them. For training, I also like Legends. Legends makes some more funky patterns, as you can see, but similar to Nike, they're super durable. I've had all of these shorts for many years. Also, they have different between 5 and 7 inches. I typically like liners to be inside all of my shorts because what they do is the liners mean I don't have to wear underwear, so it's just one pair I throw into the laundry. One thing you're gonna learn if you end up doing triathlon is you're doing a lot of laundry. I'm a heavy sweater and I'm using stuff every day, 2-3 workouts a day. So just get used to doing a lot of laundry. Like to have the shorts with the liner. Also an option to take it out. I brought some of my shoes over here as well. Just wanted to go over running shoes. They all serve a very different purpose and I want to talk about each. For me, an everyday shoe that's my favorite is the Nike Invincible 3. I'm the type of person that likes a good amount of cushion for it to be good support, a little bit responsive, but not too much cushion. Everyone's gonna be different with the shape of their foot and what they like. But for an everyday shoe, this is by far my favorite. Another really good everyday shoe for me is the Superblast 2. This is from Asics. Again, it's got a really high back and a nice support. And these shoes are both light. What I like about the Nike as well is they've got a flat box here that's nice and wide, so I don't feel too cramped. For me personally, I have my second toe that's longer than my big toe. They don't make many shoes like that, so I need a little bit more space up front. You've just got to find what works for you. The reason I have a lot of different types of shoes is it depends on the type of running you're doing. For example, when I'm back into full running, which we're gonna start, I'm really excited. We're starting in a few weeks. The next few weeks we're doing plyometrics to do jumping, like I explained this morning, and my body's gonna be ready to take the load of getting back into running. We're gonna do it slowly. The last thing I want is a setback, and I've watched so many athletes try to get back into things too quickly. These are a really good shoe. These are the Endorphin Speed 3 by Saucony. My favorite thing about these is how light they are. I like to use them for speed work because you can really have a fast turnover rate, which basically just means picking up your cadence quicker. Speed work is basically when you're running faster on the track, you'll be running at a faster pace than you're going to for, let's say, my marathon that I'm gonna do in the Ironman, to introduce a new speed. So you might cut it down into 1 lap or 2 laps, 400s, 800s, 1200s, 1600s. For that type of work, because you're doing a faster turnover, you're gonna want a lighter shoe. And these make it feel like I'm almost not even wearing anything. The number of ounces is very light. Another good everyday shoe for me is the New Balance 880s. Just durable, they last a long while. These are a newer shoe. As you can see, they're bigger and have a lot of cushioning. These are the Brooks Glycerin Max. I like these for long runs. So in a typical plan, you're gonna be running 5 days a week in Ironman. On Sundays is typically a long run, which means anything from 10 miles all the way up to 22, depending how late into your Ironman build before you race you are. The reason you want extra cushioning is because your joints are gonna be going through a lot over that course of 2.5, 3 hours you're gonna be out on the trail or on the road. And you just want it to be less compression so that you can last longer. And that's the reason I like to wear these. You wouldn't wear them on speed work because they're a bit heavier and larger and it would be more difficult to go quickly. And then just to show you the racing shoes that I like, you hear about all of these super shoes. One thing you have to be careful about these days, especially with Ironman, is they have certain shoes that are legal and certain that aren't. For whatever reason, they'll come out with some that are too super and they're not legal. For example, these technically are not allowed. These are the Superblast 2 and you can't race with them. Whatever technology they have makes them a little too springy and they don't allow them in the race. The ones that I like that are legal the most, that fit me the best, these are the Adizero Pro 4s. Adi Zero just have really nice bouncy, but I still feel like my ankle is stable and I can spring off them. And just keep in mind, these when they have carbon plates in them are only good for like 150 to 180 or 200 miles. After that, you've worn through them, so you don't want to wear them again. Some people like to train in carbon plated shoes during their training and not racing. Personally, I think that's a waste of money. These shoes can get very expensive and you might as well save them for the race. And then just for training shoes, when I'm in the gym, I really like things with high ankles. As you can see, I've got a lot of pairs of Chucks, Converses. They're just providing that support, but they also have a flat bottom. Again, it depends whether you have high arches or what's comfortable for you. I do a lot of leg workouts to keep my legs strong for the bike portion and the run portion. It also keeps me away from injuries. I really recommend something with a flat sole. Another one that I use is Nike Blazers. Again, they're flat across the bottom. I also like the style. The reason I like them flat is if I'm doing heavy squats or heavy deadlifts, rather than me having my heel higher than the toe, that's gonna make it difficult for me to go down and up and evenly space the weight. That's the reason that I like to use those type of shoes. Let's go back in and we'll grab some more. So here, what I'm wearing right here is a Lululemon shirt. This is my favorite shirt for working out. As you can see, I've got a lot. I like to get 2 in each color, just because one, if I've got a cardio that day and it's indoor, I'm gonna sweat through it. And 2, I just like having options. And yes, these are an expensive shirt when they're new. I think they can be $70 or $80, but the reason that I'll pay it is because, again, I've had these for 5, 6, 7 years, and they're just as good as when I got them first. That's through tons of washes, tons of use, still smell good, still work well. Down here, we've got my bike kits. So a kit is a top and a bottom together, a jersey and a bib. Your jersey is the top portion. Usually when you're getting a jersey, you want to make sure it's got pockets in the back like this. This is to hold things for your bike equipment. If you need a spare tire, when you're racing, you'll put extra gels in there. You can put your cell phone back if you're just training. And then you've got your bibs, which are your bottoms. These ones are really important to get the size right. They all have the padding in the bottom. This is super important. If you're on a 1.5 hour ride, you might not feel it in your crotch too much, but trust me, once you get deep into an Ironman build and you're doing 4, 5, 6 hour rides, it's really important the support you have on those really hard seats. So you want to find a company that makes good ones. Rizon is a brand that I really like, both for their style as well as their comfort. Price isn't too bad. Another one that makes a lot of flashy colors is Chase. Again, really good padding support here, and they're also comfortable. Just be careful in the laundry machine. You don't want to be washing these. You can wash them just on cold water, and then I'll usually just hang mine out to dry. You can spend a lot of money on these, and if you dry it in a regular machine, you're probably going to ruin it pretty quickly. And then another company that I like, I might butcher the name, but Our, O-U-A-R. Again, not affiliated with these, but just I've tried ones that I don't like and ones that I do like. Win Republic also make really nice ones where the top and bottom are together. There's benefits and cons to both. I like these that it's just one piece you need to grab. Fits me quite nicely. I'm at 6'3", 210 pounds. I typically need to have an extra large or double extra large. So yeah, that covers what I like for running, what I like for biking. I almost forgot the most important piece of apparel, and that's hats. As you can see, I like to wear a lot when I'm training. Keeps my hair out of the way. These are all made out of polyester 100%, so you can sweat in them, doesn't leave any marks. It's also cooling. Sometimes they have cooling, like CLA, they make cooling fabrics in them. As you can see, a lot of different options depending on what you're wearing. Of course, you have to represent that you're an Ironman with an Ironman hat. And yeah, this one is Go One More is the slogan of BPN, one of the companies here in Round Rock, which is right next to Austin. As you can see, big fan of them. Comfortable hats, but also if you guys like what I'm doing with the Ironman training and the videos, I recommend checking out Nick Bear. He makes an Ironman prep series. There's one currently right now, and for the race he did years ago. For me, when I'm on the indoor trainer getting bike rides and want to put something inspiring on, that's one of the go-to ones for me, something that I try to emulate as well. One more thing I wanted to talk about the shoes. The reason that we have so many different ones, you might think, why don't I just find one that I like and use it all the time? One, I've been told that the gel or the cushioning in the shoe that you push down during a run takes up to 24, 48 hours to fully return. So you want to alternate your shoes for that reason. Additionally, your emphasis that you're placing on that part of your foot in a specific shoe is different for each shoe. So by changing the shoe the next day, you're allowing a different part of your foot to strike, and that just keeps you from overuse on a specific part of your foot, and it could injure it. If you've got any questions on any of these, feel free to DM me on Instagram or just leave a comment on the YouTube video and I'll get back to you. When they find out that I do the Ironman distance is how many calories do I consume and how many calories do I burn per day. That varies depending on the workload. As we get closer to the race, when I'm doing 3, 4, 5 hour bike rides, I'm burning about at least 1,000 calories per hour. Same with the runs. And then the swimming a little bit less, and then I've got weight training. I'd like to be more of a hybrid athlete where I'm keeping my strength. Right now at 6'3", 210 pounds, I'm happy with that weight. As I get closer to the race, I'll naturally lose 5 to 10 pounds, which is gonna make me run faster and bike faster. One of the things I like to share with people is it's not just the calories that you're consuming on that day that are leading to a solid performance. It's everything from days and days before. So it's just really important to be consistent. And what I've learned in endurance training is carbs are so important. I didn't used to consume them that much before I started doing all of this running, cycling, swimming, in addition to weight training. So my priorities are high protein, at least 1 pound to 1 gram, which for me is at least 210 grams of protein. And then I'm eating a whole lot of carbs. Love doing it with rice, love doing it with sweet potatoes. I want to show you guys one of the staple meals that I like to prepare when I'm doing prep. The reason that I do prep is because I'm trying to be both cost efficient and time efficient. Cost efficient meaning I can buy all of this in bulk. Time efficient meaning I don't want to spend an hour every single day. If that's your passion, go for it. If that's how you like to cook. For me, when I'm training 30 hours a week, I'm spending another to 40 to 50 trying to build a business. And now we're doing videos for you guys. The last thing I want to do is have extra time. So what I do is put 1 hour during prep day, and then I'm gonna come out with 10 meals. I've got 5 pounds of ground beef here. I put half a pound in each meal. I've also got Thai jasmine white rice. I like the long grain. I like this because it's a quick carb. I'm training so much throughout the day. I can have rice and it's either before or after my workout. So it does digest quickly, but because I'm consuming it with protein and right around the window that I'm working out, I don't tend to store any as fat. One saved round I had about the hats upstairs. You also wear it during a race to protect you from the sun, and also because people like to put ice underneath to cool your body down. One of the big things that you have to think about in a full Ironman race is you start at 7 a.m. You're traditionally gonna have 4 to 5 hours biking if you're biking quick after a 1 to 1.5 hour swim. And then that means you're arriving at the bike or at the run by about 2 in the afternoon. Here in Texas in April, that means it's gonna be hot. So a hat can help protect you from the sun and also store some ice or some cold water underneath, and it's gonna keep your head cool. Back to the cooking. I keep it very simple. Other than ground beef and rice, my fridge will be full of a lot of fruit. I eat a lot of sweet potatoes. I will have some chicken, but predominantly red meat. I'm having steak probably 3 times a week. I just think there's a lot of amazing vitamins in beef. For any of you that are concerned about cholesterol or anything bad like that, I get my blood tested frequently, at least twice a year. All of my levels are pretty good, so I'm a big fan of it. Let's get into cooking. I'm very simple, not trying to teach anyone here, just what works for me. What I like to do with the beef, I can put 5 pounds in these 2 trays, these pans right here. I'll cook them over medium after adding some basic seasoning and salt. For the rice, I put twice as much water as I do rice. So today I'll do 4 cups, which will be 2 of these. And that means I'll have 8 cups of water. And that will give me probably more than 10 servings. And I'll just keep some extra rice in case I use it. Pretty simple. Just to give you guys an example of a few more things I like to keep in the fridge. I always get pasture-raised organic eggs. I have 5 or 6 every single morning. Really good source of protein. It's also filling. Love coconut water. My favorite brand is C2O. Something that I've been doing more recently is having raw milk. Really trying to add a lot of things that are good for the gut. I have a lot of fermented foods, whether it's sauerkraut or kimchi or Greek yogurt, really trying to be healthy to my microbiome and my mitochondria. And all of the fruit I have, watermelon, mango. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I have kombucha as well. I like to have that again for trying to increase my things for my mitochondria. I eat a lot of chicken thighs and shrimp. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I'm pretty basic, but just trying to get in the healthy things that give me carbs and protein. So that's it, guys. Pretty basic. We've got 8 ounces of ground beef. We've got about 250 grams of white rice. I get it, it might not be the most exciting thing. I'll usually add some onions, add a little bit of cottage cheese, which is another great source of protein. Put a little bit of hot sauce. It's satiating. It gives me plenty of energy. It took me 25 minutes to make 10 meals that I'll have for the next week now. Personally, cooking is not my favorite hobby. My girlfriend loves to do it. Unfortunately, I don't get to try her food because she lives in Munich, Germany. This is what I do, works for me. Thanks for tuning in. This is a good chance just to see more insight into the daily life of me, what I include in my day in order to strive to be an Ironman. If you want anything else in the videos, let me know and we're happy to add them. Please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. See you next week.